Hello everyone, it's been about 3 to 4 weeks since I've posted my last video, and for today's I'm going to be jumping on a thread that kind of represents the long gap between my last video and the current one. So stick around and we will see you on the flip side. Hello everyone, Daryl the Northern Vinyl Guy, and as mentioned, I am back after a 3.5-4 week hiatus, which I was on vacation doing a lot of camping and just family stuff. And so I am now back, and upon my return, I noticed that there was a thread put out by Careful With That Axe Eugene, Nick over in the UK. I'll leave a link to his channel down below, but he was also off on a hiatus for various reasons, and his most recent video is a thread about basically bands, musicians that have taken extended breaks between recording albums. And so if you want to kind of know a little bit more about the challenge or the thread, you can click on his link below. I'll put you down to the original video. But all he wants us to do is to show 5 albums by bands or musicians in which there was a long gap between the recording of various specific albums. And so you'll kind of see what I mean as I go through it here on the video. Before I do though, appreciate everyone's support. Notice that I got a few new subscribers while I was away. So if you do like my channel and you are new, please leave me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments down in the section below, and definitely click that subscribe button. And for all of you that have stuck around and you do enjoy my videos, always appreciate the support. And so here we go. Let's get rolling with the video. So I'm pretty much going to kind of combine a couple of specifics here. So the Eagles, their last recording as a band, at least I think with most of the original lineup, was in 1979, and then they had a major kerfuffle and the band split up, and of course, Don Henley, Glenn Fry, and all that kind of stuff. They were just at each other's throats, and contractually, they were obligated after the Long Run album in 1979 to do another album. Now, part of this thread, actually, part of this challenge is that you're not allowed to show, or you're not supposed to show live albums or compilations or anything that were produced between albums. So I'm not including the Eagles Live, which was recorded in 1980. As part of contractual obligation. I am also not including Hell Freezes Over from 1994. The reason being is that, yes, there's a couple of original songs, but a lot of that is also considered a live album. And so we are going to skip ahead 1979 to 2007. But I do not have the album that they recorded in 2007. And as of the present, and most likely, based on how things are going forever, the Long Road Out of Hell in Long Road Out of Eden 2007 was the last recorded album by the Eagles. So that is a span of about 28 years between albums, obviously not including those 2 live albums. So ultimately that is a long gap. I believe it's my longest gap, I think, on here, 28-ish years. The Long Run, which is a fantastic album, also from the year I was born. What were some of the tracks that are on here? The Long Run. Oh, yes. I Can't Tell You Why. The Disco Strangler. Those are all fantastic tracks. And then side 2, Heartache Tonight, is the big one on side 2. So, fantastic stuff here. But yeah, long awaited album was that Long Road Out of Eden, 2007. And along with that, Don Henley, drummer and singer, has also had, a few gaps between recording his solo albums. So in 1989, End of the Innocents, probably my favorite Henley album. End of the Innocents, Last Worthless Evening, New York Minute, and The Heart of the Matter. These are all fantastic tracks on Geffen Records. But it wasn't until, let's see here, 2000, he recorded Inside Job, which I don't have on CD or vinyl. But then there was a secondary gap of about 15 years when he did Cass County in 2015. So he went 1989 to 2000. That's roughly 11 years or so. And then you're going 2000 to 2015. There's a 15-year gap. So, if you are a Henley fan, those were some really long-awaited periods of time for him to record some albums, right? Because in the 1980s, there were, I think, 3 of them, bang, bang, bang. And then there's those gaps. So there you go. We've got the Eagles, followed by Don Henley, some long periods between. Now, speaking of famous bands, I've talked about these guys before, and that is Pink Floyd. This is my favorite Pink Floyd album, which is The Division Bell. And this particular press has a little bit of sentimental value to me. My daughter got it for me for Christmas. It is a 180 gram, but this has like High Hopes, Take It Back, those tracks. Like I said, my favorite album by Pink Floyd. Now, there's no denying, I'm not denying that there isn't some definite love for Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall and all those albums, Animals, that kind of thing. And I do like them all. But Division Bell is definitely my favorite. Now, that was released in 1994, and then from 1994 to 2014, so, close to 20 years, we are looking at their next album, which is The Endless River, which I don't have. And it is the final studio album by Pink Floyd. I think it was their 15th album. By then, obviously, David Gilmour, Roger Waters, their relationship long past, under the bridge. And it's the 3rd studio album that was recorded without Roger Waters. And, of course, keyboardist of the band had recently passed away, appears posthumously on The Long River. Or The Endless River, I should say. And, yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing any Pink Floyd anytime soon. But yes, there is, like I said, roughly a 20-year gap between The Division Bell, The Endless River, Pink Floyd. That is my 3rd choice. So up next, we've got Genesis, of course, Phil Collins and the We Can't Dance album from 1991. Probably my favorite Genesis album in the non-prog, I guess, days. No, I love their 1980s stuff. Don't get me wrong. I do remember this album, though, from my high school days. My mom used to listen to this, my late elementary and high school days. No Son of Mine, Jesus He Knows Me, which is just a crazy anti-evangelical song. One of those songs that definitely puts into perspective what happens with those TV evangelists. And they kind of make a mock of it in the video. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And then I Can't Dance, Hold On My Heart, Driving the Last Spike is great, though not released as a single. But Phil Collins and Genesis, that was 1991. And then it wouldn't be until another 6 years later in which Genesis And Phil Collins would release Calling All Stations in 1996, 1997. Not a well-received album. In fact, probably one of their least known. I don't have it on CD or on vinyl. And it was one of the last studio albums recorded by Genesis. And of course, since they have pretty much retired, Phil Collins no longer really able to play the drums, though his son does every now and again play some live stuff with them. It is unlikely that there will be any albums recorded anytime soon. So yeah, Calling All Stations, 6-year gap between that and We Can't Dance. Fantastic stuff. All right, last but not least, we have, it'd be funny for me not to talk about this band in this video. My favorite band of all time, Glass Tiger, at least my favorite Canadian band of all time. I shouldn't say my favorite, but my favorite Canadian band. And you will notice I have been talking about this. This is kind of a grail for me from 2025. I managed to get a copy of this via a seller on Discogs, and the quality is great on it. Glad that I found a good seller. The price on it was really good. This is a European pressing of Simple Mission. And this is the one that has Blinded, Animal Heart, My Town, which has Rod Stewart in it, Rescued by the Arms of Love, and of course the title track, Simple Mission. This is a fantastic album, pretty much start to finish. And then after 1990, there was a bit of hiatus where the band definitely was not recording any albums. In 2017, they kind of recorded this live, I don't want to call it live, but re-recordings of songs that they had done, so not technically an album. And then in 2019, they recorded the EP 33, which I think has 8 or 9 tracks on it. Actually 6 tracks. That's funny. I thought it was 9, but 6 tracks. So technically an EP. So I'm not going to include this as necessarily an album, but you'll notice I ordered off the website, signed by the members of the band. But then in 2020, they did release a Christmas album, and so this is a full-on album. I've mentioned this before. I actually had to input this one on Discogs. It is a green vinyl pressing that I ordered from their website. And so a lot of originals on here, but they also cover, Gordon Lightfoot, with Gordon Lightfoot, Ode for a Winter's Night. There's Song for a Winter's Night with Natalie McMaster. And then a few others. They actually do one with Rocco Voisin, Canadian French musician. But a lot of these are originals, or at least original recordings by them as a Christmas album. So fantastic stuff. Glass Tiger, like I said, my favorite Canadian band ever. So I was trying to keep this one short. Hopefully I didn't go too long. Let me know down in the comments section below, what are some bands and musicians that you know of that have had lengthy gaps between recordings of albums and sessions. If you are interested in doing this thread yourself, I will, once again, I'll point down, I'll leave a link to the original thread video through Nick at Careful With That Axe Eugene. Check out his channel. If you haven't given him a sub, do so. He's got some great content. And yeah, until next time, take care everyone, and we will see you on the next video.